Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Circle Up and Get Real. And today I have some observations and some opinions. I guess I always have those. I didn't do a podcast last week because I was on a mini vacation. And so this week I want to talk about team spirit and what that is, what it could be. And I want to preface what I'm saying today by starting out with this statement. I could be completely wrong about everything I'm going to say here. And I think the distinction that I hope you hear when I say that is that if you have information, facts, or even opinions that differ from what I share, I'm open to hearing them. I want to be more educated and more knowledgeable about things. I share my take on situations sometimes. It doesn't mean I'm right. It means I really do desire connection. And sometimes that connection means that I want to learn more. I want you to tell me what you see and how you see it. I'm doing my best, if you've been following me at all, to keep what I call above the line, to stay above the line, to stay conscious, open, curious, and committed to learning. And I'm doing that as well as I can, even when it's hard. It's very difficult sometimes because I fall below the line into unconsciousness, which is closed, defensive, and committed to being right. And that's where today I want to talk about sports. I want to talk about teams. I want to talk about spirit, those three things. And I'm going to start by sharing my observation of one of my favorite WNBA teams, the Indiana Fever. And last night, they left everything they had on that court. They lost in Game 5 of a best of 5 to get to the finals. They lost in overtime. And in my opinion, if you look at who the teams stack up to be, they should have never been in that position anyway. They were so 6 players out, just so many things against them, yet their heart and soul and spirit kept them in that game and tied it up and put it into overtime. And when their best player got hurt again last night, the 7th player, it was so just unbelievably amazing to watch how they rallied and how their spirit, their energy, their source, I don't know, call it what you will, kept them going. And I know that in sports it's pretty easy to tell who are the winners and who are the losers because there's a scoreboard. And the way the game is set up is to say whoever has the most points wins. Pretty simple, right? So you do what you can. You put all your skills and talents to the test. You know the rules and you play by the rules and somebody comes out on top. Now, there's a lot of controversy happening in the WNBA right now about the way the rules are being officiated. And so that's another story for another time. And a lot of us who are observers of these sports probably form our opinions about things. We have a team we follow. Typically, you have a team you follow, and then you become pretty obsessed with that team. And you start looking at ways other teams are being mean to your team. And it's easy to get into that space of everybody's out to get my team, or, you see things through a lens, right? And so I've been doing my best to see things more generally and noticing how the game is played and recognizing the talent that's out there on other teams, and also noticing when sportsmanship doesn't seem to be present. And there have been a lot of opportunities to witness that this season, where play gets really rough and it seems like it's not for the love of the game anymore, where it's to win at all costs, and winning at all costs means that someone has to lose. So if I need to be the winner, then I sometimes will, play outside the rules and get by with things. And, I've seen that happen. I've witnessed that happen. The team I love to watch, the Indiana Fever, has, oh my goodness, been so interesting to watch this year. and so fun to observe, because their culture appears to me to be one of the things that makes that team so special. Their culture being how we are, how our players are with each other. And you see that off the court, and maybe it's because I'm watching them more closely. Maybe it's because I am looking to see culture, positive culture, and I could be missing things that other teams are doing as well. I It's just very interesting. And if you look at the leadership of the teams, the leadership of the league, the leadership, the place where all of this supposedly starts, you can kind of see how the teams take on their own culture. You can see how, as John Maxwell would say, everything rises and falls on leadership. You can see that when you look for it. And that's not only the coach or the commissioner, it's the leaders of the team. And in the Indiana Fever's case, those leaders have changed because so many players have been injured. And then you can look at why is that they've been injured. There are just, again, so many extenuating circumstances to the Fever as a team. But wow, underdogs that were not supposed to get where they got this year, they are such a great example of heart and soul and spirit, and what can happen even when the framework and the structure of the organization isn't as strong as it could be. And so translate that to any team, any organization, any opportunity you have in your own life to be part of something bigger than yourself. And I think that it can be applied to other organizations and other situations is what makes sports so amazing to me. There's so many analogies and so many lessons to be learned. And so that concept of team spirit, I think, at least for me in my experience, having won the national championship at my division of basketball when I played in college, that doesn't leave you. It didn't leave me. I remember so many things from that experience, even though it was so many years ago, because it has the opportunity to formulate us. You can translate that on the other side if you want and say negative things that happened to us that we experienced can also stay with us forever and formulate our point of view and our mindset. And so one of the points I want to make here is that there's choice. There's always choice. How will I interpret the things that either happen to me or happen for me? And our country, our world, we're in a situation right now where we have a whole lot of ways to get sided about things. This is my team. I'm focusing on my team, and everybody else is terrible, and my team can do no wrong. I think that's the danger of following one team so deeply. You tend to get one-sided, and taking an opportunity to pull your head up and look around a little bit might offer all of us a little more perspective on the game itself. The game itself. It could be basketball, it could be football, it could be politics. What is the game we're playing here? Who are the winners? Who are the losers? Are we playing an infinite game, or are we playing a finite game? If we're playing a finite game, then it's all about the scoreboard. It's all about the winners and the losers. And that's all we care about, is that next game in front of us. If we're playing an infinite game, we're playing for the love of the game. And the individual W's and L's don't mean as much as they would if we were only looking at that as the way we measure. Culture is very different. The culture of a team, the team spirit of a basketball team, a corporate team, a political team is so different when you look at it as the long game, playing for the love of the game. And I'm going to emphasize the word love. Do you love what you're doing? And love is very distinct from fear. And so if we set one of the foundations or the fundamentals for this conversation about team spirit being the foundation of love or the foundation of fear, I think we will see that the games are played very differently. Fear of what will happen if we don't win, fear of what will happen if our opponent, does something that we need to counter. There's a lot of ways to play a game with fear as the motivation. And there are a lot of ways to play a game with love as the motivation. One I see as a short game, one I see as a long game. And so my thought today, and my wonder, my ponder, this won't be a very long conversation today because it's just my ponders. What if we could learn something from the way I see the Indiana Fever? And despite the adversity, despite all the things that happened to them, they still got to game 5 of the semifinals. There's no way they should have on paper. I mean, there's no way they should have. Yet they left it all on the court last night. They left it all on the court. To me, as an observer, they played for the love of the game. Sure, in the heat of the moment, it gets easy to yell and complain about things that don't seem right. And if we get focused on those things that don't seem right, we get into that space of, I have to be right. And then we fall below the line into closed, defensive, and committed to being right over conscious, which is open, curious, committed to learning. The challenge for me too is that sometimes things are not right. We're doing things that are not right. We're doing and observing behaviors that are wrong, And so if we fight against what's wrong, we get more of what's wrong. Could we shift that a little bit and stand for things that are right? Could we shift our attention and focus toward what we do want instead of always bringing up what we don't want? Insert team here. The Fever, the Aces, who played a great game last night and won. And, could we shift it to a corporate team? Could we shift it to a political team? What if? I'm just saying what if. And again, I'm willing to be, I was going to say proven wrong, but I'm willing to learn. So help me understand this differently. If you see it different, do you see the game we're playing politically different from the game we're playing on a court or a field? I know it sounds a little trivial to say it like that because, well, yet is it? Maybe it's the same thing. I don't know. Help me understand that. Because if we're playing politics for the love of the game and not for the quick wins, wouldn't we be doing it differently? Wouldn't there be a more conversation about what we do want instead of only always what we don't want? If we're always throwing our opponent under the bus and talking about how badly the other team played or how dirty their play was or how mean they were, what is the point of that unless it's to throw mud at the other team? Why couldn't we talk more about what we did well? Last night, I didn't watch the post game. It was late after the game was over because it went into overtime. So I'll be interested today to see the post game. How do you take anything away from the Fever last night? Even if you're the Aces, I'd be interested to hear what the Aces say about the Fever. Because if we're playing for the love of the game, you have to recognize the effort that was put into that game by a team that was decimated. They lost their best player last night too, from the player that was on the floor. They had lost 6 players before that during the year. Yet here they were in the biggest game of the season for them. So, I don't know. Is there a way to compare work teams? Think about a work team, a corporate team, with a sports team, or with a political team. I want to learn more from the comparison. So I'd appreciate any of your feedback. Let me know what you think. Could we do this differently? Could we shift our focus from the short game to the long game? Could we go from a finite winner takes all mentality and shift it to a infinite game mentality where we are playing for the next 100, 200, 500 years instead of only for the next W? I don't know. I wonder. As always, everybody, please go find a way this week to be real, radical, energized, authentic, learning focused. And by the way, don't be swayed by the word radical, which has been hijacked in our current political situation. Radical means to go back to the root of what makes you you. Go back to the root. Like a radish is a root vegetable. Go back to the rad part. What is it that is most important? What are your non-negotiables? What are things that you feel very strongly about? Values, perspectives, and are you falling below the line when it relates to those values? Meaning, are you closed, defensive, and committed to being right? Or could there be another way to look at that? Just try. Just try this week. Look for ways to get real. And I'll talk to you again. Thanks, everybody.